I'll go over that pack bait and how I just rigged it up. I just got it in the water for right now. I will go over all that here at a later date so y'all can understand exactly what I did. It is a fairly decent technique. It's just a Carolina rig is essentially all it is. Now I need to find a different rigging. That lines off right up for the bottom to put a worm on. What do I got on this thing? Oh, I got that on there. Yeah, I think this one, yeah, here we go. Just got an egg sinker and a hook. Try to get some bait before I do some catfish. Throw out a worm on the bottom. Never know. We'll see. We'll get things kind of cleaned up here. Don't hook a worm like that. That was dumb. What are you doing? You know better than that. If you can't see it, I hope you see these. They're kind of like gloves, but they're not gloves. They go over gloves. They're light. Little lights on the fingertips of them. And Trisha got them for me for my birthday, and they're pretty awesome. So far, they helped me get all that rigged up, and it was fairly simple. Because at night, it could be kind of a pain in the butt getting rigged up. And I do a lot of night fishing, so she thought it was a good idea, and it was a heck of a good idea, actually. So I got pack bait on that guy over there, and just a worm sinker on here. Rigging up. Let's get this show on the road. I am starting to tighten up a little bit. Not as much as I would like, but So here's something I did. He who watches this and he who knows, he'll understand what I just did. I stole my brother's fishing rods to go fishing with, because I needed some rods that I can switch over to salmon without having to switch all mine, so I jacked his. I think it's hilarious, and here's the thing, he can't do nothing about it because he lives somewhere else. Ha ha. But I will get him back to him. But for right now, oh, we're using them. And this one I definitely want mono. I don't want my green because I'm going to put carp bait on here. And to rig up for a carp, the idea, I'm going to put a pack bait on. I made some pack bait out of just your normal pack baits that is a pretty common carp bait. Corn, sweet corn, panko, breadcrumbs, and I use strawberry jello. Mix all that up and let it sit there, and you pack it on. I don't have method leads, but whatever. It'll be alright. Here's the whole thing. When I'm by myself, I talk a lot more because I just weird that way, and I talk to myself anyhow, so I figured, why not? There we go. That's what we want right there. It's getting hard to see, but I do have a tool exactly for this reason, and I'm going to get them out here in just a minute. That Trisha got for me for my birthday yesterday. Moon's coming up. Hopefully we can get some carp. I wanted to be here way earlier, but well, such is life. Because somebody's a retard and decided to get 45 minutes down the road and realized he left his key sitting on his vanity in his bedroom. It wasn't the most intelligent move of me, was it? Oh well. So, all right, took a little while to get something hooked up here, but it hit this rod hard. Hopefully you can see my little light floating down the river right now. And I got something good on here. I'm guessing it's a good carp or a nice cat, one or the other. Nope, that's a good carp. Look at that. Look at him just a running. And this is why they're fun to catch. He just railed that. Big old carp. Holy cow. I hope that's getting all on video. Look at him. I think he's tuckered out now. Maybe. I was just thinking about moving and sitting here contemplating it. Bam! Tell me, that's not fun. He's made a couple good runs on me. And in the net he goes. You're not supposed to pick up like that on these nets. They are absolutely a hard fighting fish. So let's get everything kind of, look at him. Holy moly. Big old boy. All right, I'm gonna try to shed some light on this situation so maybe everybody can see. But get the hook out of him here. Get that out of the boat so I don't get myself hooked. Well, that was exciting. I'm gonna need to see if I can find my scale here. That'll get you moving. Well, there goes my light. Now I just got a bell, but hell, that's better than nothing, huh? Cool. So let me get him out of the net here. Hit the wrong button, but he's a nice sized carp. And that was all on that pack bait. Just a good common carp. They're all over down here. I've been hearing them jumping and sitting out here at night by yourself in the dark, and all of a sudden one of these guys will jump and hit the surface, about to scare the heck out of you. I jump and kind of startled every time they do it. But I'm not gonna put this thing in his mouth because that's just mean and cruel and it's kind of hard on him. Catfish, I could put the grippers on and do it, but I'm gonna weigh my net and then tear it, and that way, just like that, because my net's, I know it's kind of hard, but by yourself while you're trying to hold the camera at the same time. What I'll do is I'll go off the top end of this. They sell special nets that you can do all this with, but I don't got one because I don't normally do this. Oops, some kilograms, what? So now my net's at 0. We'll put the carp back in it, then we'll weigh them. Then I'm fixing to make some people mad because I ain't keeping him. I ain't killing him for no reason. That's just, I'm not okay with that. But he is 14 pounds on the nose right there. Y'all see that? Maybe 14 pounds. Not a monster, but for some people it's not a monster, but heck, for here, for not doing it, that's a good sized fish. Good sized carp. And look at that. All right, big guy. Slimy little bugger. We'll give this spot a little longer, I guess, huh? We'll get him recuperated, so let him go, and off he goes. Well, that was fun. So since I got everything rolling here, let's go ahead and I'll show you kind of how I did this. So I hope y'all can see this. Just heard another one roll. What I did, I got a sinker on a slider and I made a really short leader, like 6 inches. Okay. And what I'm doing, taking this bait I made. And that's the first time I've ever caught a carp with this bait. I've caught one other on purpose last year, I believe it was. But anyhow, so I'm making a ball of it. Just making a ball. And then take this ball, take my sinker, shoving my sinker down on that ball, and pulling right up to that barrel swivel, and just tucking that barrel swivel in. And I'm just packing all this around. And I'm not too worried about how much of this bait I use. I probably won't use it tomorrow if I go down and go salmon fishing. But there's other fish you don't have to keep. There's other fish around to catch that are fun. I mean, that was a fun fish to catch. And then I pack it all the way around that, good and tight. And got this big old ball of bait, and I'm taking some of this corn that someone's floating out. You can get another can of corn, and you can get hair rigs and stuff that have a piece of fake corn on it, and you can put scents and little things like that. I'm just doing it this way. The heck with all that right now. Maybe if I get more into it, I'll go buy some of that, but right now I'm not. And I'm just putting a few pieces of corn on. I'll do one more. This one that flopped out right there. Put all these little fellers on there. Then I'm just taking it and shoving that hook down in that ball. And what's going to happen, the idea of this, that is going to disintegrate and kind of fall around it and make kind of a circle out there, hopefully, and then you have that piece of corn. on a hook, and they'll be rooting around out there trying to get that hook. The biggest problem with carp is rooting around in the bottom, disturbing the bottom and causing erosion and things like that. It can cause problems in the bottom. So you don't want too many of them in a spot, but I'm not too awful into killing things for no reason. I just don't like it. But anyhow, do that. And it took me a little while to find them. I've been casting around, letting it set 15-20 minutes, reeling it back in, rebaiting, casting again, until finally that one hit. He tapped it a little bit and then just took off with it. That was cool. I like good takedowns like that. Those are fun. And you know, you don't need anything special to do any of this. Obviously, the way he's a 14-pound, you don't want something super light. You don't want a super light rod and reel and line. Might be problematic for you. But I'm gonna put just my bell on, since my light, I could still see my light way down there. If I was super ambitious, I'd go find it here in a little bit. Somebody will find it. You can see it floating. Maybe you can see it way down there. But anyhow, so we're rigged back up, thrown back out. We'll stay here for a little while longer. After this, I'm gonna move to a different spot and go see if I can't find a catfish. I was hoping to find some bait, but could have used that carp for bait, but that's just a lot of bait. I'm not gonna use it all, so I just let it go. But I got my, I thought that light disappeared. I got my chicken in there, and I've done pretty fairly good on chicken before, so we'll do that. I'll put my light. We'll check this guy. But yeah, that was fun. Well, good morning. It was kind of a quiet night. Got that one carp, and that was all I caught all night. I moved over, and my eyes look all boo. I just woke up a little bit ago. But yeah, I moved over to a different spot and nothing all night long. But that's how it goes, I suppose. So we're up and gonna head over and go do some salmon fishing, I suppose. Head back to the boat launch and get my buddy. We'll see how that pans out for us today. Before I head back down to the boat launch, let me show you how I rig this up. This is one of my favorite ones. But I got I think it's 4 ounces, 3 4-ounce sinker on a slider swivel down to a bead. The bead's just to protect that knot right there. And then a lot of times I'll put a snap swivel. You want one of these good ones that's got the little hook that goes into it. Down to a snap swivel. You can do a barrel swivel, snap swivel, in case I wanted to remove this sinker and hook it onto here and make it fixed. So I do that quite often. Down to this little Versa rattle. And a couple more beads so it can spin or do whatever. I don't know if it really helps or not, but I like it. And then down to this stinger. And it's got a double hook rig to it. And that's all by Whisker Seeker, and I really like this rig. This rig seems to work really good for me. But I mean, standard, just a slider swivel down to a leader to a hook works pretty good too. Sometimes none of this works, and your normal Carolina rig works way better. That's that one. Let me grab the other one. And this is what I was talking about, snap swivel right here. Mainline, snap swivel, sink another 4-ounce sinker to a leader down to that rattle. And that rattle will float down to your hook. And that'll help hold that bait up off the bottom. And I like running floats more so, because that does seem to help get your bait up out of the rocks and stuff. So you can just use a regular peg float, a cigar float, a bobber, to help get your bait up, and that tends to work too. I do that even for sturgeon sometimes, but that's how I rig those up. Well, I'm gonna head on home. It's raining, I'm cold, not really cold, I'm wet, but I'm headed home. Paul could come down, and we didn't catch anything for salmon wise. Caught a couple, got one catfish and some bass. But it was fun. It was a good trip, but any fishing trip's a good trip. That carp, he was pretty cool. That was a lot of fun. But yeah, I don't know what else to say. So I'm gonna go home.